So here's what happened. I had a youth leader who was like super excited to get baptized, and I was just like so excited with her because she had, just kind of been waiting for the perfect moment, and it hadn't happened yet. And so finally, it was my honor to be the person who got to baptize her, and I was so excited. Well, that day we were doing river baptisms, and I don't know if you've ever been in the Deschutes River, but it's really warm, really warm. And I walked in, so I'm like super excited for her. We're like getting all hyped up on the bank, and then I start walking in, and the water is so cold. It is so frigid. And I'm like kind of going into like a little bit of early like shock from how cold this water is. And I'm so excited for her, and I'm dealing with the shock. We get there, and I just completely forgot everything from that moment. And while she's down, Pastor Ben is out there with me in the water. She's underwater, and he goes, "So we're not going to say anything?" Ripped her back up, and I was like, "I now baptize you." And then this poor girl's like, "What's going on?" Hey, I promise not to do that at yours. That's the best I got. Okay, that's the best I got. If you want to know why it's important that we say something before we baptize people, come to the class. Come be a part. I'd love for you to do it. It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome. Man, I love this church. I do. I love it. I love all the stuff we get to do. I'm going to actually bring us into a time where we're going to get to bring our tithes before the Lord. And I love farmers markets. I don't know if you guys ever go to them. I like genuinely enjoy them because the fruit is different. I actually got to have oranges from a farmer's market. A friend of mine brought me oranges, and I got to have oranges. And I take one, I give it to my wife, and I was like, "Hey, this tastes like all other oranges are doing an imitation of it." And she's like, "That is a very vivid description." She takes a bite. She goes, "You are 100% correct. This is the orange." And when you go to a farmer's market, it's different. Man, the food is different. It's better, okay? I don't know what they sell us in the grocery store, but when you go to a farmer's market, it's like the best fruit and vegetables you've ever had, ever. And if you get there late, all that's left is like all the bruised, like the lowly fruit, the fruit that nobody else wanted. But if you're early and you show up and you can see what I call model fruit. It's like better than normal fruit. It looks like it should be on the cover of a magazine. It's like the picturesque, beautiful, wonderful fruit. All the other fruit is like jealous of this fruit. And the Lord, when he describes what we bring to him, he says, "I want you to bring me the best, the first, the perfect fruit. I want model fruit." In fact, he says it in Proverbs 3, 9, and 10. It says, "Honor the Lord with your wealth and with the best part of everything that you produce. Then," this is the promise, "then he will fill your barns with grain, and your vats will overflow with good wine." There's a promise from the Lord that says, "Hey, bring me your first and your best," and then he will do the miraculous in our lives. And so I want to do this. I just want to pray. I want to invite you, if you want to give, there's ways to give, and I would love you to be a part of this. Let's pray. Lord, would you take what we give this morning, Father? Would you just do the most miraculous thing in the world, God? Would you continue to pour out your abundant blessing on us? Would you continue to pour out the miraculous in our lives? God, we worship you with our finances. We worship you with our lives. Lord, everything that we have, nothing is held back. We want to give it all to you. So, Jesus, we do that this morning, and we ask that you would bless it. In Jesus' name, amen. Man, today we get to hear from our lead pastor, Pastor Ben Miller, and it's just so awesome. One of the things that he's done, he's my pastor, and I hope and I pray that he's your pastor as well. But this man has encouraged me to grow in my faith. I know he will do it for you this morning. Would you give your hands together for Pastor Ben Miller this morning?
Good morning. How you guys doing? What a beautiful day. How many of you guys like the snow? Yes. How many of you guys are ready for it to be done? Anyone else? Yeah. Like, it's a love-hate relationship, isn't it? We love it. It's beautiful outside. At the same time, it's like, it's March. Please help us get through March. March is one of the toughest times. Hey, my name is Ben Miller, lead pastor here at Joy Church, and I love this church. I love what God is doing here in this house and in and through the people of this house. How about you? Like, this is an awesome place to call home. If you're new, I want to thank you for joining us, and we are excited about our future. We have a hope in a good God, and that's what we hold on to. And if you came today and you're thinking, man, I don't have hope and I don't have hope for a future, you showed up at the right place at the right time, because God has a hope and he has a good future in store for each and every one of you, for this house and this church, but he also has a good future in store for you and your house. And I want to encourage you in this, is that God is not done. He has a lot more up his sleeve, and when we think that he has tapped out, he hasn't even started. And that is to go with your life as well. And so we are in love with the fact that God is doing amazing things here, is that he's healing, he's transforming lives, he's breaking addiction. Over and over in this house, through the people of this house, we get to see him at work all the time. And it is really cool to be a part of it, but it's also amazing when God does something miraculous on our behalf, isn't it? When he answers a prayer that we've been holding on to, when he heals us miraculously, he will see us through the hard times and he will see us through the good times. And I love this place, and I love the fact that we are in a place to now make room for more people to meet Jesus and actually experience who he is and see their life transform. You know, Jesus, or God in the very beginning, so not the beginning like the beginning of the day, but the very, very beginning in Genesis, he creates Adam and Eve, he creates mankind, and the very first words out of his mouth, they're so interesting because his heart was really, he was looking for a people to covenant with, a people to have a relationship with, and he says this, the very first words, it's not like, hey, good job, or hey, good morning, nothing. This is what he says, then God blessed them. Mankind, he says, be fruitful and multiply. I love that part. I have 5 kids. This is the best part of all of it, right? I love that part. Fill the earth and govern it, he says. That's where he starts out with good morning. Hey, I'm going to bless you. This blessing that God has over his people is a people that are in relationship, daily relationship, that are choosing to walk in his ways and walk with his heart. When we do this, this is a blessing that he commands over each and every one of our homes, each and every one of our lives, and over this church. He says, I will protect you, I will provide for you, and I will bless you. That is the promise that Christians walk in. I don't know if you've ever met someone who is like crazy in love with Jesus, and then they're praying. It seems like every prayer that they pray gets answered. It's like, how in the world do you get every prayer answered? Like, how does this happen? And all of a sudden they get sick, and then the Lord heals them. And they just see that there's supernatural protection and provision, and they're blessed in everything they do. This is a promise that the Lord has in store for you and for me, that when we walk in relationship with him, we walk in his ways, and we align our heart with his heart, we walk in supernatural protection, provision, and blessing. This is amazing. From the time of Adam to the time of Jesus, you can just see the same theme over and over reoccurring in the Bible throughout all of history. And what you see is that God continues to say, I will be your God, and you will be my people. In Leviticus, I want to read you this because it's amazing. It's a reiteration of this heart of the Lord to say, I'm going to protect, I'm going to provide, and I'm going to bless. And I want to read this to you today. In Leviticus 26, this is verse 3, and I'm going to hop around through a few of these. It says this, if you follow my decrees and you're careful to obey my commands, I will send you the seasonal rains. That for us, that's snow, right? Now we know that. Seasonal rains. The land will then yield its crop, and the trees of the field will produce its fruit. He goes on to say, I will give you peace in the land, and you will be able to sleep with no cause of fear. How many of you guys would like to sleep well with no cause of fear? Like, this is a promise that the Lord has for each and every one of us. He goes on to say this. He says, I will look favorably upon you, making you fertile. As I read this, I just want to declare this over you as well. Like, I'm reading this, but you need to grab this. This is a promise that the Lord has for you in your house. I will look favorably upon you. I will make you fertile, and I will multiply your people. Come on, everybody trying to get pregnant. And I will fulfill my covenant with you. You will have such a surplus that you will need to clear out the old grain to, say it with me, make room for the new harvest. I will live among you, and I will not despise you. I will walk among you, and I will be your God, and you will be my people. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt so you would no longer be slaves. I broke the yoke of slavery off of your neck so that you can walk with your heads held high. This is the promise that the Lord has for each and every one of us. As we walk in relationship, as we align our hearts with his heart, there is supernatural protection, provision, and blessing. What we see is we can see that in the lives of the people that are choosing to follow Jesus in relationship, but we also see that in the lives of this house, in this church, over and over again, this promise. And when we choose to walk in his ways and align our heart with his heart, I'm telling you, the Bible even tells us it's time to make room. Because what we have won't contain what he wants to give. He's going to continue to bring more. We've seen this over and over again in the last year. Actually, today we celebrate our phase 1, which for us is like to see that God has called us to make more room. We know that. Look at this service. The service before this was packed as well, and there's another service after this. I can tell you that the staff are ready for us to make room for one service. And everybody on staff said, amen. Like, please, right? When we choose to align our heart with his heart, and I'm speaking about the church, but I'm also speaking into your life. When you align your heart with his heart and you align your ways with his ways, he will bring supernatural protection, provision, and blessing. When you align your finances with his ways, he will bring provision. When you align your heart with his heart, he will protect you and he will bring a blessing on your home and on this house. We are a church that has a heart to align with God's heart in sharing the gospel in our community, in bringing the good news to our families, to our neighbors, to the people that we know and love and go to school with and work with and hang out with. We are in alignment with his heart to bring about good news. And what do you know? When you choose to align your heart with his, what does he do? Is he expands it and he fills it and he multiplies it to a place where all of a sudden you're thinking, how do we contain all that God is doing and desires to do? You got to tear down in order to build. And this is beautiful. Jesus, now this is 4,000 years after Adam and Eve. Jesus is here on the earth, and actually after resurrection, before he goes up to heaven, he's having a conversation with his disciples, and he makes this comment. Now, Matthew 28 originally is when we see it, that is the Great Commission. He says, go and preach the gospel and preach it to everybody. Baptize in my name, which we're still teaching Josh how to do, which is awesome. Yeah? That's right, I got one good laugh down here. Do it again. And sorry, Charity, by the way, for that. I know. What's beautiful is that when all of a sudden you start to align your heart with his heart, he fills whatever we have, whatever we're doing. We felt a call to make room. And in Acts 1:8, he actually says this. Jesus speaking to his disciples, and in Acts 1:8, he says this. I want to read it to you. He says, nailed it. You will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you. He's referencing, this is Acts chapter 1. He's referencing the very next chapter was in Acts chapter 2 at the day of Pentecost. He said, you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes on you. We are a Holy Spirit-filled church. We believe that we're Spirit-filled and Spirit-led in all we do. And what happens when we give our hearts to him, submit our will to him, and we receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit? It says that power comes on you, and the power is this, for you to be my witnesses, telling people about me everywhere. Through Jerusalem, throughout Judea, and Bend, and Redmond, all of Central Oregon, Samaria, and to the very ends of the earth. It is our heart to align with God and to be a witness for what he has done and for what he is currently doing. We are witnesses, which means we are the ones who stand up and say, I saw it. We are witnesses to every transformed life, to every miraculous healing, to every supernatural breakthrough, to every life that's set free from addiction and slavery and depression. We are witnesses to people receiving life and peace and hope and help and healing that is only found in Jesus Christ. And we are going to tell people everywhere what God is doing. We are a people that will live it and we will share it. And every time that we see a life transformed, whether it's your life that you're sharing or somebody else's life, we get to tell the story. And that's what Jesus has asked us to do. And in fact, he gives us the power to do so. And we are a church that's not just going to hang out and have a great powwow meeting today. We're going to leave here and we're going to go meet people everywhere we go. And we're going to tell them about what God is doing in and through his people and in and through our lives. Why? Because they need hope. And we live with this beautiful hope. We are committed. When we align our hearts with his, we are committed to making room. Why? Because he's going to fill it over and over and over again. And we see it happening. He fills our lives. He fills every single piece of room that we have. And he fills this building and he fills our kids' church. Kids' church gets really, really, really full. Like they shove kids in. There's probably kids here in this service that they're like, hey, sorry, we ran out of room. We want to make room for you to put your kids in kids' church. Everybody who's a parent said, amen. Like, please help us, right? Please do this. So we started, here's the fun information. I'm going to give you a teaser, and I want to encourage you after this service, we have signs set up outside. We have on our website, if you go to the building campaign, all of these pictures are on there. Everything is on there for schematics and information. You can get it on your app. You can get it on the website. You can get it outside. You can see it in the hallway. I'm just going to give you a little teaser of information today. I don't have time to give you everything, but we have people that are ready to answer all the questions that you have, and we'll try and answer all of the serious questions today and go from there. But our heart, 1 year ago, when we set out for phase one, this is phase one right here, is that we wanted to design, engineer, create a site plan, and submit to the county, and then we wanted to raise $1.5 million for the excavation, breaking ground, utilities, parking prep, all of the non-cool stuff of digging the dirt, blowing everything up, and making sure that it's all put in the right spot before we build. This is our phase one. Today we celebrate phase one. Right now, as we haven't completed, we have the design and engineering done. We're going to show you some of that. Our site plan is finished, and everything that we need is finished and compiled, and we've started uploading our information into the county to submit for permits to build some buildings. Woohoo! That's awesome. This is 4 years in the making, and it has been a lot of work, a lot of time and energy to find out, God, what do you want to do? What's your heart? What are you looking at? What can we build? What fits on the property? And then what we've wanted to do is raise 1.5 in phase one for all of the excavation and groundwork. Today, we're going to finish with an offering and finish that 1.5 today, which is awesome. And then what we'll do is we're going to let it sit. We're going to submit, and I'll give you some more information on that. So this is phase one to us. I want to walk you through a few key things that would be awesome celebrations for us. This is currently our property. This is a topographic map of our property. It says our property, so now you know. And we have 10 acres. This is our existing building right here. That's your existing drive-through, but that's our existing building. And as you can see, we have more room to build, and that's our small little building there. And so we bought this over 20 years ago, and it's 10 acres. We love it. One of the things when we purchased this property, there was 2 roads actually that went through it. There was one that went right through here, and what we did is we relocated it over to here for this neighbor, Mr. Tom, who is new neighbor. He didn't own it when we originally did that. And then as you can see this road here, if everybody can see it, this is a 50-foot, what we call access road that was dedicated by the county for future development. We've always wondered and tried to figure out, like, hey, what's going to happen with this road? That road is 3/4 of an acre, and it actually cuts off an acre and a half. So this is two acres of our property that is unusable. And so what we wanted to do originally in our site plan was to set out to see if they would move that road. I'm going to take a drink. Some of you guys, this is new to you. Some of it, it's not. We wanted to move that road to right here on the property line in order to get the most out of our property. And so that's something that we've looked at. We've tried to say, all right, hey, what can we squeeze on the property? And we know that whatever we build, God's going to fill. And so we're trying to make sure that we are using the best space ever. So in October of this last year, we were getting ready to actually put together a road easement adjustment and to submit it to the county. And I remember praying and asking the Lord, like, hey, God, do you want us to move that, or do you want the property back? Like, that's a legit question. And he didn't answer me, but everybody else answered me with, the county doesn't give property back. I don't even know that. The county doesn't like to give property away. So they didn't want that. But I just thought to myself, God, like, but do you want it? Because if you're going to build, you need more room. Like, what are we going to do? And so we sat down with our engineer, Hayes McCoy, and I said, hey, what do you think about, instead of asking him to move it, what do you think about asking him if we can have it back? And of course, he laughed at me. And I said, hey, do me a favor. Would you listen to me? It doesn't cost you anything. In fact, I'm paying you to be here. So would you just listen to me, please? And he said, I'll listen to you. That's fine, you know. So I explained to him, hey, the 30-year plan for our area and all the roads came out. It has nothing to do with that. They haven't even mentioned it. I don't think it's on their radar. I said it connects Rocking Horse to Buck Canyon, and Rocking Horse and Buck Canyon are already connected. It goes through the middle of houses, and it just, to me, I look at it and I go, I feel like it's not needed for anything. And to be honest, we feel like God wants it back. And so we want to ask, would you be willing to ask? And he goes, yeah, I can ask. So he went down in October to the roads department, and he said, hey, these guys, crazy people down there, they want to know if they can have the road back. And the guy said, hey, listen, he said, well, if you can get every utility and every neighbor who it's connected to sign off, then we'll look at it. The road actually, if I show it to you, I want to show you this road. It actually goes through, see this is our property. It goes through several more properties as it continues down here. It's already connected there, and it's already connected there. And then, what the heck, we don't know what this is. But you're like, excuse me, this goes through a house and a barn right here. And it's like we actually, because it's a dedicated access, you can't fence past it. If you notice, our fence had stopped right at that access point. And so we're thinking, hey, we want this thing back. So what we did was he went to them and said, hey, if you can get every utility and every neighbor to sign off, then we'll look at it. So guess what we did? We got every utility and every neighbor to sign off, and they did. And in fact, Tom, who's our next door neighbor, went with me. He says, I want to go with you, and I want to petition to the neighbors. So him and I, we went out. This is back in the fall. We showed up on people's property. Don't shoot, don't shoot. It's just, I promise. I guess I am a priest, but just don't shoot me, okay? And so we asked him, well, what do you want to do? You guys building the parking lot? What's happening? He said, no, we actually really want that back, and we want to petition on your behalf. Every single one of our neighbors has asked for this property to come back, and every single one of them has been told no. And so we petitioned, and we asked them. We got everybody to sign off. We brought it to the county roads department. They looked at it, and they said, all right, we'll look at it. So they opened it up, started cracking it open, and guess what happened? 30 years ago when this is dedicated, nobody put a reason for the dedication, and nobody deeded the property correctly. Paperwork error on their part. And so when they looked at it, they're like, you know what? We actually can't say no to you. But we have to go to a hearing, a public hearing, and so we did. And in the very beginning of January, I think it was the 5th of January, I was the only person who showed up. You're welcome. And there were the Board of Commissioners, and we asked the question, and the Roads Department actually did the presentation on our behalf and walked through the entire thing and said there, how it was not deeded correctly and how all the utilities have signed off, all the neighbors are in agreement, they've paid their fee and all this stuff. And one of the county commissioners was like, well, can we negotiate for what if we want to build walking trails or whatever they want to do on it? And I'm sitting there like, oh no. And they said, does anyone want to speak? Well, I was there, so I said I'd like to speak, so I spoke, and it was awesome, and had the conversation, and I'm like, come on, I really feel like the Lord wants this. And in January, I believe 5th of this year, we're sitting there, and at the end of it, they're trying to ask, can we take it back? What can we do? Can we put a deed on it? And legal speaks up and says, hey, just so you guys know, they've paid their fee because it was deeded incorrectly. There's actually no way we can say no to this church. And so at that point, the last person was holding out goes, well, then I guess I'll vote, Yes, you will. So it was a unanimous vote. And on January 5th, we got for ourselves and for the whole neighborhood all of the property back. Come on. This is a massive win. The property itself is 3/4 of an acre. We paid the $1,000 permit fee for the entire neighborhood. That was the cheapest land deal in all of Central Oregon, like 50 years. So we raked it in. And so that now is no longer there. That road has been removed. And that gave us 2 more acres to build on this property. How cool is that? That's God, after how many years of saying it wouldn't happen. And here's one thing I love. I'm going to show you the new site plan, a few pictures as we move forward. This is the new site plan. It takes some mansplaining to do, and it's not like totally set, so we'll go from there. But if you notice, where does that road go through? Right there. And in our future sanctuary, we are going to be standing in ground that we've only owned as of now. How cool is that? And so we really felt like the Lord, when we moved everything on the property, like, what? No way. It's brand new. So as I told my dad, I finally, it took me like 5 years, but I finally fixed what you created for all those years ago. And he says, oh, good job, son. He says, I acquired 9 and you acquired 1 acre. Well done. So anyway, still loving our family. So, oh, yeah, can you believe it? So this is our new site plan. All this stuff you're going to be able to see. Obviously, our entrance now will come along the 2 areas of the road. We've created a north lot and a south lot. And in fact, you almost have a number and equal portions to the middle of both of these. This is our existing building. This will be our new kids' church. This will be our new sanctuary. All of these things are laid out. We're going to walk you through it. But this is a center courtyard. So as you come out of church or out of kids' church, we're all there connected in one area. We love outside. But then also all of this is still our backyard barbecue. It's important to us that we still have room to party and barbecue. And yeah, come on. That's what we're not giving up. We're not giving up our backyard, which we totally love. And this is still, I know it's not on there, but we have an adventure play park that we want to put in there. The word park you can't use. Don't use the word park, all right? In the site plan review, they'll mess everything up. So it's an adventure playground. That's what it is. But I'm still going to build a park. That's what I'm going to do. We'll scratch that from the tape, okay? Make sure that's not on there. And so we have two buildings that we're going to be building. Obviously, there's one here too. That's all our maintenance. But it's a great layout of property. And in fact, we have one entrance and exit now. But now we'll have an entrance and exit. We'll have a second exit coming up this way. So if you're parked in this section, you'll be able to go exit out on Sunday through there and make your way out. We'll pave all that. So if you're like, hey, I really got to make sure that I get to the crock pot before all of this is done, you'll be able to go from here to here to here to here in like 30 seconds. You're going to nail it. It's going to be awesome. And so that's an awesome layout. We're happy for that. And the courtyard in between will keep that connection between both buildings, and it's actually designed really cool to even be spatially to pull you in and to make sure that we keep the flavor and the feel and everything in the church. And so I love this, and that's our new site plan. Several years ago when we set out, we asked the question about 4 years ago. We said, God, how big do we build the next step, the next phase? Like, because we could build a double-sized sanctuary. We could do a lot of different things. And so that's what we took to him. Felt like he came back to us and asked the question of us, what will the property hold? Like, what can we squeeze out of this thing? And so that meant we had to do all the work. I was waiting for an answer, but he never answered. He made us do the work on that. So what's amazing is that we were setting out to ask the question, A, can we get that extra land back? And once we do, what can we fit on this piece of property? And so we did. It's very important, the adults to kids to parking ratio. If you have a massive sanctuary, but you have no place to park, you're not going to fill the sanctuary. If you have an awesome sanctuary and awesome parking, and you can literally fit 10 kids, you're not gonna be able to fill it. You have to make sure that all three of those match correctly. And so that's what we've done is we've gone to the experts, to engineers, to architects, to the county. We've said, okay, what can we fit on here? What's our perfect ratio? Adults to parking to kids. And then also we want to keep all of our backyard feel. We want to keep the connection feel on the property. And so what we've done is we've come through and worked all of our numbers. And what we've determined is that we can fit 325 parking spots that are legit parking spots, and then we have another 100 parking spots that are hidden. You know what I mean? Hidden. And if you drive a truck, they're hidden. We'll show you where they are. And which is awesome. But we have 325 spots that we'll be able to squeeze in, which when we look at our ratios from there, that means we'll have a sanctuary that comfortably sits about 625 to 675. And our average is between 20 and 30, so at 25 kids ratio to adults, which means we have a kids church that'll fit between 200 and 300 kids. We want to shove them in there and make sure we have plenty of them. I don't want to turn anyone away. I'm sorry, by the way, every time you take your kid to kids church and they say, hey, there's not enough room. We're going to fix that. We're dedicated to making room to fix that. We want to make sure it happens. And so between kids, adults, parking, and all the volunteers on site, we believe that we can fit between 800 and 1,000 people per service in one location on this site. How cool is that? What that really means is that means we can go down to one service. Yeah, come on. Yeah, all the staff's excited. We can go to one service and we can be one big church, which will be awesome because there are a lot of people here that you don't know are here. Here's a couple teasers. Here is our new kids church, a 3D rendering and model, which is awesome. Kids church is amazing. The theme on kids church is inside out. And so we want to make sure that when you're in the building, it also feels like you're outside of the building. So if you're standing in front of the building looking through it, there's glass on the other side. So every time you come in and out of the building, you actually look through it. And so it really creates this cool inside out. Even on the nursery, we have like an atrium on one side and another atrium on two sides. So when you're in the nursery as a little kid, you can look out and you actually see all greenery. It's a really cool setup. All the beams come from inside and go out. And it's a really, really cool setup. Here's kids church. And like I said, all of this stuff is online. You're going to go outside, go walk through it. We've actually coned everything off for you to go walk through it and see how big it is. We have this is nursery. And like I said, there's an atrium here and here. This is all pre through K, and this is elementary. This is the egg, egg for elementary. There you go, egg for elementary. The cool thing about elementary, when you look at it, is that although from the top down it looks like an egg, so Jesus will see the egg, we don't see the egg. When you're interacting with the property, whenever you walk out of one of these doors, if you notice it pulls away from you, and it actually pulls you into our hosting area, our backyard area. And you can never actually gauge the size of the room because it's always walking away from you. So you can't look at it like a big square box and see the size of it. So it's kind of a cool system. There's a lot of really cool things that come together. Our lobby, as you can see, is a massive lobby. Why? Because it's a dual space. Everything that we create here and use is dual space. It gets used so many different times. times. We can have meetings there, team nights there. It'll be a great place to be able to host, and also on barbecues if we need it. God forbid it ever rain on a barbecue. We're going to have extra space inside instead of just shoving our kids in here. That'll be awesome. And then this is all quiet room, sensory room. We have different places for like prep, the bathrooms, all our storage and stuff like that. It's kind of all the utility work of Kids Church. And so go look at that. This is Kids Church and the 3D rendering. You're going to find one thing I love about these 3D renderings is that there's people with like shopping bags. Don't know why they have shopping bags, but people with shopping bags. There's a ton of like single dads with kids. So hey, if you're looking, right? If you're looking, they're here on the paper that you're going to find them. Now this girl, she's just wandering, so that's pretty awesome. And but see all the single dads here with kids? There's like, ladies, you're going to mop it up. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You totally love it. All right, sanctuary. Here we go to sanctuary. Here's your new sanctuary. Same thing you're going to find. So here's new sanctuary. Obviously, this is like you look at the building, like that's a massive building. It's amazing. It's really beautiful. There's some really cool features. This will be our new growth track room, which means we don't have to like force people to go up the stairs. We can actually have this. These doors here, and there's doors over here. They'll actually be like the ones that open up or accordion out so that we can open up and have that whole inside out space. So like on nice days, we can open up all the lobby doors and it almost feels like it's inside out. That's the whole heart behind it. I really love this feature, and it's better on the 3D, but you see this here? Right here, this comes out 15 feet. Over here, it comes out 9 feet and overhangs at a 30-foot height. What's cool about this is that it actually creates this kind of a little arrow, but when you come out of the doors, because it blocks your obstruction to the parking lot, it throws everybody's eyes to the courtyard so that you look straight at Kids Church, and it throws you into the courtyard. We're trying to keep you here as long as we can, yeah? And we don't want you to run for the parking lot. We want to keep you. And so even the design on there is an optical illusion that helps bring you into a place to say, hey, let's host, let's hang out, and let's have a good time. So this is beautiful. And on the far side, you're going to find these are the church offices over in this area, youth room, team room, stuff like that. Here's a quick schematic of this building. Go look at it outside, walk through it. It's awesome. There's an incredible lobby. You can see there's like 32 bathrooms. Yes. That's awesome. So we're going to upgrade the bathrooms. As you can see, this is that growth track room, team room, tons of bathrooms. This is all lobby space, nursing mom's room. You have 2 setups in the sanctuary, one for chairs, one for tables. So if you're doing like a dinner or a retreat or something like that, or a marriage conference, you can set up for tables, which is really cool. As we've told you in the past, this specific design is a fan shape, and the goal behind it is that from the communicator, whoever's preaching on that Sunday, to the back of the room should never be more than 60 feet. There's something that happens at 60 feet where your eyes kind of disconnect and you're looking for a screen. We want it to feel like you are here. We love this feel. I love the fact that you can throw things at me and I can still hopefully catch it or avoid it, and I can see it coming, you know? But if it's coming from past 60 feet, I might be in trouble. So for my own safety, that's what we're doing. And it's great because we don't want to lose the feel. We don't want to walk into a new building and be like, this feels so big, I feel lost. No, we're still a family, and we want to keep that connection in the service. It's important to us, which is awesome. These rooms, as you can see, they're just big, huge rooms, like a team room. This will probably be high school. This all backstage. The reason they're big rooms, we've done this, and it's worked out well for us. If you look at the back Kids Church, that's all one room designed in the building that's been changed like 100 times over and over and over again. We're a church that's growing and changing. The needs grow. And so what we're doing is constantly changing that. So make sure, that's why these are built like that, and they'll be kitted out. This is all backstage, which you're like, man, that's a lot of backstage. Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but like we need some storage, people. We have everything in like sheds, and we save it at Josh's house. We're like, Don, tell us about how much room you have in your shop. Can we put some stuff in your shop? We need storage. So it's all backstage storage, event storage, and stuff like that, which is amazing. I actually wanted to do one thing here. Let me go back for fun. Okay, this is fun. People are asking what's going to happen with the current building. See, there you go. See, someone's asking what's going to happen. What's really cool in Kids Church is that this right here is the stage inside and then a stage outside. It's right over here, and the stage outside is where we're going to have our center hosting area. And so all of this here is where we'll be able to put our outside tables for the barbecue. These walls right here we'll be able to convert into roll-up doors. And so what we'll do is we'll have instead of setting up a tent, instead of setting up a tent, we'll have an inside hosting area for barbecues, an outside hosting area for barbecues, and all of it will be central in here. This will be the Adventure Play Park. Our barbecue's right there, which means we're going to tear it down. to make room for one that's like 3 times the size. So that's what we're going to do. Don't worry, everyone. It's going to be awesome. So it's a cool setup, and I love how it's coming. Oh, let me go that one. Check this out. So here, this is it. See that outside stage? So everything's in here ready to go. We're ready to host. We can host outside. It's important to us to make sure that we keep all of these fields. I want to encourage you, go look at all this stuff online. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Go look at it online. Go look at it outside. Check it out. Also, I want to say this, is that there have been some amazing, incredible individuals behind the scenes, whether it's an architect, that is designers, engineers, helpers, people serving behind the scenes that have all brought something. Every person that God's brought to the table has had a new, unique idea that blew our mind. You're like, yes, let's do that. Originally, we had kids' church out there. We moved it over here because it's too far. We need to be able to have them close to do that. I love the fact that now we have a north and south lot. Everything's coming together really, really well. Even moving our driveway and things that we've done. We've listened to the experts who've said this will save you money, this will save you time, this is how you need to do it. And we feel like we've come up with a really good plan as we're submitting to the county. One person behind the scenes that I just want to say a special thank you to is Nate Hardenbrook. He's amazing. Nate has spent 5 years behind the scenes working on this. Countless hours, phone calls. He's very well gifted in all of this. He is amazing, amazing. I can't even tell you all the work that he's done behind the scenes. When we came back 5 years ago, we were transitioning the church from my dad to myself, and I met with Nate and I said, hey, listen, I'm taking on my dad's mantle, and your dad built the first church, so you're taking on that mantle. It is your lot in life. It is your call to make sure that you build the next one. And you know what? He's taken that seriously. And he has given his life countless hours. I'm telling you, time and time and time, vacation hours, vacation time. He has more invested in this, and he is the right person to help leading us through. And I could not do it without him. He is not only a good friend, he's an incredible servant in this house. So he is to be highly esteemed. Please say thank you to him. He's out there, and he is amazing. Real questions that people want to know. How much dynamite is it going to take to blow it all up? I know, we got that after first service. Thank you for the calculations, Matt. It's going to take 30,000 tons of dynamite to blow this up. So that's going to be awesome. Yep, going to be awesome. Looking forward to that. So we as when you look at the top half of the property, we have a 39-foot rise to fall. And so we have to take 6.5 feet off the top cap. That's all going to be boom, 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 boom. Looking forward to that day. We should do it during a service. Can we do it on a Sunday, Matt? Can we do it on a Sunday, each service? Wouldn't that be awesome? Just to see what happens, the earthquake. Best idea wins. Best idea wins. We're going to ask. I like that. Some important things too, from your drop-off to getting into the sanctuary is all one level. I know that's important to some people who are on wheelchairs, that are on walkers. They actually care. Some people come to this church just because of that, not because of the preaching. They come because that it's flat from the door to the sanctuary. Those kind of things matter. We are going to have our barbecue space, which is amazing. And, of course, thank you to Kate Brown and all the good work that she did the last couple years. We are going to have electric car plug-ins. So, yep. I said, Nate, can we move them to the farthest piece? He says, no, they have to be next to a box. I'm thinking, what? Who's getting these guys privilege? Anyway, all that to say, it's time for us to start buying electric cars, everyone. It's all going to go in there. Yeah, we're going to get hooked up. You guys are going to be out there charging your Hot Wheels and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of awesome things that are going to happen. So the question is, what's next? We have everything we need. We've actually started uploading the process, and it'll be finished this week, of submitting to the county. So that goes in the county. Would you join us in prayer for praying for favor for the county? It matters. It really matters. We've done all our due diligence. We've done everything that we can, got the right people in the right spot. But we need favor. We need continual favor, and we've seen that. Also, as a church, we have to go to a public hearing for a conditional use just to re-up on that because we're making a big change on the property. Would you pray for favor with our neighbors? Remember the ones that we just got all their property back for them? Those guys? Sometimes you just turn. All right, anyway, so all that to say, we're believing for favor. Pray for favor with the county. Pray for favor with our neighbors. And what we're going to do is over the next couple months, we'll keep you updated. And as we get through the public hearing, depending on how that goes and what kind of pushback we do or don't get, if it's going well, we can apply for a dig permit, which means we can start breaking ground in 2023, which is our hope. We need to break ground. So that's what we're pushing for. And so we'll keep you updated on progress. For us, we're moving in this. This is phase one that we have completed, and we're also moving for and trying to break ground, get everything ready to go. That's going to be an awesome time. And then what we'll do is later this summer in June, we're going to kick off a building campaign for the actual buildings, for Kids Church and for the sanctuary. Kids Church will be built first. Why? We've got to get them out of here. We've got to get them out of here, And we also need to stop turning kids away. So we need to make sure that they have enough space and enough room. Second part of phase one that we're going to finish today is I want to encourage you. We've set out from this time last year to now to raise 1.5. We've also been saving as a church to be able to take all of our excavation and groundbreaking costs debt-free. That's our hopes. And so we have fundraised 1.1 of the 1.5 million, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Today we have a $150,000 match, so the first $150,000 that comes will be matched, which means for us, the hopes is that with that match, we're saying, hey, let's fundraise $300,000 this week and next week and over the next couple weeks. I want to encourage you to give and give generously, and I know that for me, I'm excited. I'm like inspired for what God is doing here in this place, and not only am I inspired, my family is getting inspired. Can I have this? Can I have a couple hats too? This is my peanuts jar. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is my peanuts jar. This is the Miller family building offering peanuts jar. So we give on a regular, we give monthly, but we also know as a family, like our whole family's excited about what God is doing. It's not just us. And so when we talk about our kids, we show them pictures and they're like, come on, when do we get to build this? And when's it going to happen? And they're excited. Eden told me, I know it's happening because they ripped down the old play structure. So it's got to be happening soon, And so we as a family, we get together and we say, hey, we are so excited about what God is doing, but also we want to make room for the friends that we're inviting, for the neighbors, for everyone who needs to hear a message of hope and a message of Jesus. And so as a family, we're doing this. And a couple days ago, or the other day, Selah, who's our youngest, wakes up Titus, who's our oldest, and she's like, get out of bed, get out of bed. He was trying to sleep in. And get out of bed. She says, you got to get up. You got to give all your money to the church. That's what, you gotta give all your money to the church. And of course he's like, what the heck's going on? And he comes out all mad and why I have to give all my money to the church? What's happening here? And I still calm down. And I said, we're gonna have a building offering and we are gonna give. Every single one of us is gonna give. I said, in our home, it's 100% participation is what it is. That doesn't mean you give everything, but that means that we all participate. I said, I want all of you to ask the Lord, what is it you're to give? And so they looked in their piggy banks, they looked through all their stuff and all their stash, and everyone gave according to what the Lord told them. For some of them, they're like, I was just told to give everything. So they just gave everything that they had. We searched the house, go search your rooms, and that was a good opportunity, like clean your room. Look for any coins, but just clean the room really, really well, and make sure that that's done. And we all put in as a family. Mom and Dad have given, and what's amazing is out of all of our kids, one of them too, he just said, like, I prayed. It's amazing how the Lord answers, right? I prayed, and the Lord told me give 25% of everything I own. And I said, that's amazing, man. I'm proud of you. And so we did. Got it, counted up everything. Here's 25%, threw it in. Another person said, I want to give everything. It's amazing to me that when kids give, they're so generous. They don't focus on what they will lose because they gave. They're focused on what they'll gain. That's all they care about. They don't think about loss. They only think about what God is going to do and how he's going to build his church and how he's going to move. And I'm inspired by my own kids' generosity. I'm like, all right, I better take more out of Rachel's wallet. That's what I got to do, Yeah, Mom, you should do that. And it's amazing to see is that in the house, there's a beautiful generosity. This is like our family. We give on a monthly, but also it's like, hey, come on, let's commit. Let's be together. Let's get the whole family involved in what God is doing. Statistics show that most people come to Jesus in a prepared space just like this one, and we are going to prepare that space. 34 years ago, 4 families sacrificed all that they had. My family was a part of this to follow the Lord's call. And I can tell you that to date, thousands of people have come to find hope, find life, find joy, and found Jesus in this place because of the sacrifice of 4 families. Like, could you imagine what's going to happen in the next season, and how many more thousands of people are going to come to Christ because of the decision that we get to make today. And I can tell you, when I look back on that, and everybody who was a part of it, and everybody who's given to be in this place, they say the sacrifice was worth it, 100%. Someone went before you and built this building. Someone went before you and purchased this chair. Someone went before you and prepared a place for you to encounter Jesus, encounter the love of Jesus, and have your life transformed. We are a church that wants to make room for what God is going to do next, because he's already doing amazing things. And at the end of this project, I can tell you, it's not going to be. It's going to happen, and the Lord is going to see us through, and he's going to provide in miraculous ways, but it's not going to be because one person gave everything. It's going to be because everyone gave something. Kids included. Let's grab the people that we know. Let's do everything that we can. And you know what? Let's put his kingdom first, and let's make room for what God is doing in our families, in our neighborhoods, in our lives, but also what he's going to do in the future. 34 years ago, I can tell you that they never believed that we would be at the place where we are, and thousands of people would come to Jesus. Man, what is our future going to look like? What's it going to look like? And so today, I want to encourage you to ask the Lord, what is it that I'm to give? Ask your kids, what is it the Lord's placed on your heart? Bring your kids on the journey. And today, as we finish, we're going to take an offering. And if you didn't have anything today and you want to go home and clean out your car, do it. Bring it all tomorrow, next week. Be a part of it. To be honest, I don't even know where to put this because the box in the back, it won't fit, and I can't put it on my phone. So I'm probably just going to leave it here, and somebody can fix it and look at it. And accounting's going to love this one, by the way. Yeah, you might as well melt it down and make pipes. That's what you're going to do. So, it's amazing to see the difference between the kids and the parents and what God does. And I want to encourage you today to give, to sacrifice, and to give, to be a part, to don't miss out. 100% participation. Say, I want to be a part of what God is doing here in this place. I'm inspired by Joshua. At the end of his life, he had walked an entire nation through the promised land, and they had divvied up the land. They'd all got places to live, and they'd set everything out, and he finishes everything. Everybody has their inheritance. Everybody's sitting on the blessings that the Lord has. The building is up. The land is procured. And at the end of it, he said, listen, there's still a choice to make. And he said, today is at the end of Joshua, in Joshua 24. He says, today you have a choice to make. And I remember my mom and dad actually communicating to us as kids. I was 5 years old when we were getting ready to leave and come and plant this church. And I remember my parents saying the same thing. And it was a declaration from the family. And he said this, we have a choice to make today. And Joshua stands up in front of the entire nation of Israel, and he says, but for me and my family, we're going to serve the Lord. I'm going to lead my family, and we're going to continue to serve the Lord in his ways, and we're going to stay connected to him in all that we do. And I want to encourage you today to make a decision to serve the Lord and to give him everything. I want to encourage you, give and give generously. What we do today will have an eternal impact for years and years to come, and for eternity. You're going to see that lives will be changed, all because we chose to give of what we have. So I want to encourage you. I want to inspire you. Give today. Give what you have. Ask the Lord what it is to give, but give generously to what he is doing in this. I want to pray. Lord, thank you. Thank you for your house. Thank you, Lord, that as we follow you and we're in relationship with you and we align our heart with you, you continue to fill the house, and you protect and you provide and you bless. I pray for every single person here who's just even saying, God, I need supernatural protection. I need supernatural provision, and I need supernatural blessing in and through my life. I just want to encourage you right now, as we reach out to him, he is the one who provides all that we need. He protects all that we have, and he blesses us abundantly to a place where so much we have to make room for what you continue to do, because your desire for this house goes way above and beyond what we can ask, what we can think, what we can imagine, what we can put on paper. You have a heart for this place. And so, God, we choose to align with you. We submit our wills to yours, and we say, God, we give generously to what you are doing today. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen.